to yet another edition of In Focus. I'm your host, Gabriela Martinez, and joining us today is Cal State Fullerton's very own President Fram Virjee. After being a partner at the private practice O'Melveny Myers for almost 30 years, he served as the Executive Vice Chancellor, General Counsel, and Secretary to the CSU Board of Trustees from January 2014 to December 2017. Currently, he serves as the 6th permanent president of CSUF since March 20th, 2019. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Can you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am an immigrant to the United States. I came to the United States in 1966, December of 1966. I actually came to America on the Queen Mary, believe it or not. Came across with my parents, never knowing that it was going to be in my own backyard for the rest of my life. I grew up in San Pedro, which is right north of Long Beach, and went to public schools there. My dad was a ship captain, and I went to college at UC Santa Barbara. That's where I met my wife, Julie. Met her my first week of school at college. So you guys never know who you might be meeting, what might happen. We went out for 7 years before we got married. I told her I wanted to finish school before we were done. So I graduated, took the bar, graduated from law school, took the bar, and we got married a week later.
Wow.
We have 4 sons, and they are all grown. 2 of them, one's a graduate student at Cal State Fullerton, and one's a undergrad at Cal State Fullerton. And the oldest is a lawyer, and I don't know, what else would you like to know?
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. What are some day-to-day activities you do as CSUF president?
Oh, well, people ask me all the time, what's your job? And it's so vast in the different things that you do. You know, first of all, we have to run the physical university, and running the university is like running a city. We have retail and residential and food service, or at least usually we do when we're not virtual. We have energy and all the other things that go along with that. So I worry about and manage the budget with folks in the business and finance side. There's lots of contracts to enter into. The day-to-day operations of the financially of the university. We have about a $600 million budget every year, so it's a lot to manage. At the same time, we have 6,000 employees, and so there's lots of employees to deal with and employee issues. Half of those are faculty, the other half are staff and administrators. So there's lots of human resources issues to deal with going along with that. But of course, we are first and foremost an academic institution. And so you have to think about the academic offerings that we're going to have, the running of classes, the offering of classes, et cetera. But, you know, that tells you all the things that I do sort of day to day with people in teams all the time. But I think if you ask me what my job really is, my job is to build community. I think that's what makes Cal State Fullerton special, is the community that we have. We are a very, very diverse community, but also an inclusive community. We have almost 60% of our kids, I call you all my kids, I hope you don't mind that. 60% of my kids, I got more kids than anybody, are first in their family to go to college, which I think is important and unique. We are a majority minority institution. Almost 50% of our students now are Latinx. About a quarter of our students are Asian Pacific Islander. So we come from very diverse backgrounds, and we pride ourselves on our diversity, but also in being inclusive. But that, to be inclusive, that means you have to build community. You have to build a sense of unity and collaboration and joint enterprise. And I think if there's anything about my job, that's my biggest job. I want everybody to be proud and glad to be Titans, and know that they are getting an amazing education and it's setting themselves up for the future.
And we thank you so much for everything that you do. How does your previous experiences help you in your role now?
That's a very interesting question because I have a different set of experiences than most, probably 98, 99% of presidents of universities. Most presidents come up through the academy, as they say. They start as a professor, and then they may become a department chair, and then they become a dean or a provost, and then become a president. Or maybe they come up through student affairs and become a VP of student affairs and become president. Or even less common, but still there, someone who was a vice president of business and finance on the business side, and then they become a president. I came in from the side. I was a lawyer in private practice for 30 years and no intention of ever being involved directly in higher education. I had colleges and universities that were my clients, but I also had lots of other clients. And I was retiring and leaving to go do something else. And I got sidetracked to come to the Cal State University system, the best thing that ever happened to me in my life, and eventually found myself as president. So the things that helped me as a president is being a lawyer. What they teach you in law school and what you learn as a lawyer is to think deductively, to think linearly, to think in an organized manner, in a logical manner. It's a different way of thinking. They teach you to take large amounts of information, digest it, categorize it, prioritize what's important, and then use it to support your positions. So I think that's helped me a lot. In being a leader of large groups of lawyers in a big law firm, we had 1,200 lawyers in my law firm. You learn leadership skills and how to lead and inspire people to do work. I think that's helped me as well.
And you've done an amazing, outstanding job. Do you have a favorite memory at CSUF thus far?
Wow. There's so many. Frankly, every day on campus is my best day. You may not know this, but my office is right across the street from campus in College Park. And so I don't like being in my office. I like being on campus, walking around, talking to students, talking to faculty, learning what they like about Cal State Fullerton, how we can make it a better place. I can't think of any place that's more of my happy place than being on campus. So I love seeing our students soar. My first week at Cal State Fullerton, not my first week, probably my first month at Cal State Fullerton, one of our large choirs came and sang for me in my office, surprised me. And I had like 40 kids in my office singing. First of all, they sing beautifully, but then in my office, oh my gosh. And I cried. It was so amazing. I love going to our musical events. We have an amazing symphony, our plays. I had never been to a dance recital before I came to Cal State Fullerton. And I went to Julie made me go to my first recital. I said, I don't want to go to that. I was blown away. When it was finished, I just wanted to do it all over again. And I'm an old broken down athlete. I love athletics. So I go to every game that I can. I love baseball and the softball team and both soccer teams, track and field, both basketball teams, volleyball, it's golf, tennis. I'll watch any of it because I love to watch them succeed. But, it doesn't stop there. Every year we have our capstone projects for our engineers and going and seeing the amazing things our engineers are going to do, or the Titan Rover, or the Titan Baja, or the Titan Racer, the Formula One car. So there's so many things to choose from. I would say probably though, the most impactful thing that's ever happened for me was with Taylor Dawkins, who's one of the young ladies who plays softball on our softball team. And she has cancer. And she's an amazing woman that is battling it like you wouldn't believe. She's played through cancer, through chemotherapy for 2 seasons already, and she's still going. And she's gonna get through this, and it's gonna be amazing. But to see her teammates come around her, And then we had Taylor Dawkins Day for a softball game. And everybody in the audience was wearing shirts with her name on them. All the girls were wearing green ribbons. The green is the color for liver cancer. And she has been such an inspiration. I would say that probably is the most impactful thing.
Beautiful. I'm going to change the subject just a bit. Talk about your last In Focus interview. You talked a little bit about one of your goals being to open up the 4th and 5th floors of the library. So how do you think opening those floors has benefited the library and students in general?
Well, I wish I could say that it's benefited them incredibly, but we're still trying to wait to open them. So they're going to be open at the end of May, right in time for the end of the semester. So I think what I will say is it's going to benefit us greatly, all our students greatly, when they come back in the fall. We're going to double the size of the library, so there's going to be lots and lots more seats. But beyond that, we're looking at all kinds of innovative things to do in those spaces. You know, if you go to the 2nd floor of the library now in the North Tower, we've converted it into incubator space and an area with lots of IT for our data visualization center there. And every college has a specific space where they have their own computers that they would use for graphics or for engineering or whatever. So we're going to do things like that on the 4th and the 5th floor. We're going to open it up and specialize that space to make it very, very helpful to students. Our esports are on the 2nd floor now of the library, and that's a great thing. And we're going to look for other ways to create innovative space for students to stay in the library and enjoy it. I'm really excited about it. And then the 6th floor is opening up as well. And that's going to be our Center for Oral and Public History, which is a nationally known center where we do video recordings and video interviews of famous people from all over Orange County and all over California. And we save those in an archive for people to study for the future. And so it's a really beautiful space. So I'm really excited about the South Tower opening again.
Amazing. I wish I could have I could come back to school next semester, but unfortunately, what is your plan for CSUF in the next 5 years?
So we have a 5-year strategic plan, and we are in the 2nd year of that 5-year plan. And then we also have a master plan for the development of the university. That's a 15-year plan that is going to be in phases. So we have a plan for how we physically develop the campus as well. So from a physical perspective of what we think the campus is going to look like, we will continue to update the buildings that we have. Some of our buildings are old, as you know, and really need repair. So we're repairing and renovating McCarthy Hall. We're starting this summer with the 2nd floor. And so over the next 5 years, all of McCarthy Hall will be completely renovated, and it'll be beautiful and new. We have a plan for a new science building in front of Dan Black Hall, which we want to build. And that will hopefully get started in the next 5 years. This summer, we are beginning the renovations of the baseball field and the softball field to update those. And we're also going to begin breaking ground, I think, probably in the fall for a new aquatic center, a pool, because our pool right now is out of commission and has to be replaced. We have plans for a new engineering wing to our engineering building. Our engineering school has doubled in size in the last 10 years, and we need to renovate and build. And then we have a plan for an innovation center. We're also going to be building student housing. I'm hoping in this time next year, we will have broken ground on a new 800-bed student housing center just south of the Gastronome. We're hoping for approval from the Chancellor's office just next month. So there's lots of plans for how we're building out the campus. We're going to build an innovation center right next to the library where students can come and faculty can come and collaborate. From a academic and co-curricular aspect, the next 5 years, we will be concentrating on a couple of key things. First, continuing to enhance our diversity and inclusion, making Cal State Fullerton a true example of what it's like to work to come to school in an inclusive environment where everybody is valued, where everybody can find their place and feel like they're part of our community. And we're going to be spending a lot of time over that over the next 5 years. We're starting a common read in the fall, and we're going to have lots of speakers on diversity issues. So we will continue to focus on that. We're also going to focus on what we call high impact practices, HIPs as they call them, which are immersive experiences for our students, where it can be anything from study abroad to internships to project-based learning. And we have a commitment that all our students will have at least a few HIPs experiences while they're at Cal State Fullerton before they graduate, whether it's a mentorship program, an internship program, faculty-student research, something like that. And we are measuring and always paying attention to out in the community to what are the professions of the future? Where will our students be employed? And so you will find us spending a lot of time revamping our programs and streamlining our programs and changing them so students can get jobs when they get out of school. We want to make sure that we are actually teaching students what employers want them to learn. So we'll be focusing on that as well.
Thank you very much. As we know, you are very busy and many students want to follow your journey. Is there any way for students to follow you on social media platforms as a president, of course?
Sure. I mean, you can on Twitter. I'm at Fram Virjee. You can see me on Twitter and follow me on Twitter anytime. I also have a podcast. I think we have about 10 episodes in my podcast so far. So you can listen to the podcast. You can follow me on Twitter. But I would like it even better if you followed me around on campus, that you stop me on campus when you see me. I love to stop and talk to students about what they like about Cal State Fullerton and what they would like to change. You know, I'm just finishing up 3 years here, and I can tell you over the course of that 2.5, 3 year period, there have been lots of suggestions by students of things that we should do that have generated results. And so I encourage students they can email me anytime to my email, and I see students all the time in my office. You can drop by if you'd like. I encourage you to make an appointment only because half the time I'm not there and I don't want to waste your time. But I do meet with students all the time, and I like to say I'll meet with anyone, anywhere, anytime. It's my favorite part of this life that I lead.
I would like to thank our guest, President Fram Virjee, for joining us today. Thank you so much. You can actually find the links to all of the information discussed on today's show in the description box below. Until next time, I'm your host, Gabriela Martinez. Thank you for watching In Focus.